This was on my list to do, but the morning I was going to do it, it was cloudy and completely rained out, and I wouldn't have had any views. So I guess I'm just gonna have to come back and do it next time. I've made it to Sabi Sands and I have so much to tell you about this area. It's a privately owned game reserve in the Kruger National Park area of South Africa, and it's considered by some to be the best place in the world to spot the big five, which is lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and buffalo. The unique thing about Sabi Sands is it shares an unfenced border with Kruger National Park, so you get all of the wildlife of Kruger flowing freely in and out of this land. But because this is a private reserve, it doesn't have some of the rules that Kruger does. I talked about this a little bit in my Namibia video, the difference between a private game reserve and a national park. In national parks, you can't enter until after sunrise and the gates close at sunset. So you miss out on all of that animal activity really early in the day and heading into the evening. You also have to stick to designated roads in a national park, which means you're limited to what is visible from the big roads, and elusive animals, like leopards, don't tend to hang out next to the road. On a private reserve, you can drive any time of day. You can stay out at night hunting with the lions if you want. You can also drive anywhere on the reserve, so you don't have to stick to a certain road. Also, the only way to get into a reserve is to stay at a lodge there and drive with their guides. So, you're not gonna be dealing with crowds, which isn't to say that national parks are a bad idea. I had a fantastic time at Etosha in Namibia. I actually think the best thing to do would be to do both if you have the time on your trip. So, I'm going on game drives for the next few days in the mornings and afternoons, and I'm excited to see what we find. Sabi Sands has a reputation for big cats, especially leopards, which is part of why I came here. Leopards are notoriously elusive animals that can be really tricky to find and get close to, but Sabi Sands fulfilled all of my leopard dreams. We spent a morning tracking a mother and her older male cub through the bush. These animals are so beautiful, and they weren't bothered by us either. They walked right up next to our vehicle multiple times. The only time they actually looked at me was right here as I was getting this shot, and I was silently losing it. I mean, look at that. And it's incredible how quickly they move. They never seem to stop for more than a few moments before continuing on their way. I can see why it's so hard to spot them. So, I just had probably my craziest safari moment to date. We found an older male leopard cub this morning with a dead antelope up in the tree that he was eating, and we gotta get so close to him to watch him up in the tree. But then he dropped the antelope all the way to the ground right next to us, and I am now splattered with antelope blood. It's all over my jacket. It was on my camera lens. It's wild that you have no idea what you're going to see when you go out on these drives every day. Every single one is different.